I highly recommend that you do study country music history and realize that there was a lot of African Americans that trained a lot of these early country singers, and they learned how to play from them. It's beyond political parties. It's beyond sponsorship and money. These are human rights. There have been times that I've gone to concerts and sang at these events and people were waving the Confederate flag. And there were times that I was called the N-word at these same concerts. I read this book, Black Like Me, back in college. It's written by a guy named John Howard Griffin. Went to the Deep South to see what it was like to be a black man in the 1960s. And I had this song title and I was like, guys, this is gonna sound crazy, but I have a song title and hear me out. I said, it's called Black Like Me. And I remember we finished it and Nathan Chapman, one of the writers, said, I think we wrote just one of the most important songs of your career, and it could make some people very mad. I highly recommend that you do study country music history and really see where it's coming from.
The banjo was an emblem of Black America for a long time before whites ever picked it up. The idea that it was, created in the Caribbean by Africans that had been brought over from Africa and enslaved, and that it is a part of it came out of that culture, but there are all these ancestral instruments that came before that are West African, and then it goes up into North America with enslaved people and becomes a part of the landscape and becomes a part of Black America. When you talk about fiddle music, string band music, banjo music, square dancing, which, square dance calling is such a piece of American culture, and that was invented, most likely by African Americans. It represents the history of America, which has been this interaction between European and African, between Western and Eastern, between all these different cultures coming in. At the same time, you have this sort of white supremacist rewrite of the narrative of this music, and so the recording industry sort of cements a lot of what's going on. What's recorded is remembered a lot of the times, and all those Black musicians who would have been playing string band music at that time even are forgotten because they didn't get recorded. So it's really frustrating because you have people saying, like Lil Nas X wearing a cowboy hat, oh, that's cultural appropriation. I'm like, yo, it's so unbelievably frustrating when a white person says that, because I'm like, you so clearly don't know even your own history. And whose fault is that?
Say something. It's not a political stance. This is a human right, basic human stance. It doesn't mean that everybody else's lives don't matter. It's just saying that Black lives matter too. Country music is not just an accent, it's an actual way of life, and that's how I live my life.